Okay, this first video is about portfolio selection and diversification. There are 4 different portfolios here. Each portfolio has a mean of 1,000. The first one is comprised of just a single asset. The second one is comprised of 10 assets, each with mean 100. The third of 100 assets with mean 10, and the fourth with 1,000 assets of mean 1. And what we're going to do is we are going to record the, let's see if I can get out of that. We are going to record the returns on these assets in a series of experiments. So I'm going to copy the returns here, right-click into this cell, choose Paste Special, and then I'm going to paste the values in there. Okay, having done that, I am now going to advance the round, and now we have another round of experiment, and I'm going to copy, right-click in this cell, click Paste Special, choose Values, and click OK, and let's stop that. We're going to do it one more time just so we can get some data. Copy, right-click into this cell, choose Paste Special, and Values. Okay. And you can do this a little bit more if you would like, but this should be enough to explain what's going on. Let's look at the data now for 1 second. So I'm going to move this to the right and move this down a little bit so we can look at what is happening here. This asset is returning almost exactly to the mean. The variance in the returns is incredibly small. This is a very low standard deviation. This asset is also close to the mean, not quite as close as this one. It has a slightly bigger variation. This one did quite worse than the mean and has a pretty large standard deviation, and this one is very far away from the mean and has a huge standard deviation. And if you look at the maximum return and the minimum return, a huge spread here. The difference between max and min is pretty big here. Here it's almost non-existent. So what do we have here? Because it looks like that fourth portfolio is diversification and the other portfolios only have single assets. If you look at the formula for this asset, it's $995 for certain, and it's only got a $10 possible variation over a narrow range. So the entire variation only goes from $995 to $105. If you look at this asset, it's composed of these 10. Let's look at a typical one here. It's got this asset has $80 for certain, and then a range of 40, and likewise for all the other assets in this portfolio. So a little bit more variation here. So you are getting benefits of diversification, but the range of these assets is a little wider. If you look at this asset, which is the sum of all of these, each one of these assets is comprised of 2 different types of returns. One is for asset at B4, and if you go to the next one, you'll also see that's getting B4. B4 is the systematic risk, and then you have the idiosyncratic risk. And this is half systematic risk and half idiosyncratic risk. And then the 20 is multiplying it so that it will have the appropriate mean of 10. The systematic risk, you do not diversify. You only diversify the idiosyncratic risk. If you go to this last portfolio, which is now the sum of all of these have also systematic risk. Let's look at this one. Now it's 90% is the return B5, and all of these are giving 90% of B5. So there's a lot of systematic risk here, and you do not diversify that. So that's a big deal issue here. Even though you're getting lots of small assets, you're not really diversifying because of the systematic risk.